and there's so many good running backs all over the place that why not? Like
Yep.
Carolina, for instance, who we'll get to in a few minutes, they got two great running backs. So Reggie Bush is going to be very valuable. I play myself in a points per reception league, so those of you who don't know what that is, it's just what it sounds like. Every time your running back catches a pass, you get a point. So
That's Reggie Bush. That's
that's
like
Reggie
his
Bush.
thing too.
Right. So he's very valuable in those kind of leagues. They really see him probably around, because he does split time with Pierre Thomas. Really good for about, I don't know, maybe 8 touchdowns, 1,000 combined yards, something like that. Nothing that's gonna really blow you or push you over the top is in terms of when you're getting to your playoffs or something like that. But it's definitely a nice pickup to have on your bench or a reserve in case someone gets injured. Pierre Thomas, he's a pretty middle of the road running back as far as numbers are concerned, but they give him a lot of stuff on the goal line, and he's able to run the screen, which is something that the Saints like to do a lot. So
Hmm.
you can look for him kind of in the mid to late rounds. See if you can pick him up. Again, very good for if you have a bye week or someone gets injured. It's a nice reserve player to have. Depending on how your draft's going, he could go as a core running back on your team, but that's a chance you'll have to take when you see how your draft starts to play out. Marcus Colston, the problem with the Saints as far as fantasy is concerned is everybody scores. So there's
Yep.
not one.
Especially with a quarterback, Drew
Right,
Brees.
right, yeah. The only person that scores multiple touchdowns every game is Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Other than that, you know, there Marcus Colston could score one game and then go completely silent the next game, and it'll be Devery Henderson, or it'll be Jeremy Shockey, or it'll be somebody else. So, with a team like the Saints who kind of pass it around like that, the quarterback is really the number one piece that you want. The Saints defense, if you're looking for a great defense, um, they were uh, they were second in the league in takeaways. They had 29 takeaways last year. So that's
Jeez.
interceptions, fumbles, and they had I think they tied for most in the league or had the most returns for touchdowns in terms of pick six or
Almost reminds me of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense in the Super Bowl championship with Oakland Raiders.
against the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders. Yeah,
The Raiders.
yeah. No one cares about the Raiders. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
The only downside with the Saints defense is they don't get a lot of sacks. So if you're one of those systems that kind of rewards for sacks, you may want to look at a different defense. But there really is no system that doesn't reward for picks and touchdowns. So Saints defense could look pretty good if they can keep all their people healthy. The Atlanta Falcons, pretty good last year, 8-8, 9-7, I think.
Yep.
Actually, I think they were 9-7, and but they still missed the playoffs. But the number one pick on this team has got to be Michael the Burner Turner, right?
The
Uh,
burner.
Burner Turner with Mr. Bubble Butt, as some Saints fans called him. Looking at he's got 1,500 yards and 15 TDs. That's probably what a lot of people project him to be at this year. He's healthy. He's slimmed down. I think he's down like 20 pounds since he's been in camp. They've looked really good
What
in
a beast.
preseason. They look good in preseason, and the only thing that kind of screws Michael Turner, but it's not enough to not make him a number five or a top five running back, is the fact that he doesn't get a lot of catches out of the
Yeah.
backfield. His hands are pretty crappy. So, but
Not as good
again,
as his feet.
no, not as good as his feet. But that doesn't mean he shouldn't be a top five running back that should be taken. He's absolutely one of the best potential picks out there for running back. So if you can grab him, go ahead and do that. Roddy White also for receiver for the Falcons. Um, he over the past 2 seasons, only Andre Johnson from the Houston Texans has more receiving yards than Roddy White, which is a surprise. Which is a surprise because Atlanta, I mean, Atlanta doesn't seem
Yeah.
like they're much on the radar very often, and Roddy
Uh,
White,
just comes out of nowhere and it's like, hey, what's up, Andre
yep,
Johnson? You want a piece?
Roddy White, he plays really good. He's really well. Matt Ryan loves him. That's one of his favorite targets. So I think he's targeted like, I think I read 44% out of the offensive plays, out of the pass plays that they run. Roddy White's
Jeez.
targeted, so it's good. It's a good potential receiver, especially he's going to be healthy. They look really good in preseason. The whole Falcons team. Matt Ryan looks sharp. Um,
Definitely.
so Matt Ryan would be another person to pick up if you need a kind of middle of the road quarterback. If you kind of stacked with running backs, receivers, and all the great quarterbacks were taken, Matt Ryan could be somebody that's going to be a hit and maybe not so much a miss. I think he'll do better. Last year he didn't do very good at all, and I don't think you're going to get that again. At the very least, you'll get a little bit above that, but still that wasn't bad. And if you've drafted well with running backs, receivers, with some top echelon guys, you can really that Matt Ryan can help you get some extra points to win weeklies and all that.
And Matt Ryan, he wears the little black strips under his eyes, dude. What an OG. I mean,
Right.
come on.
That's
What a
19
thug.
that's 1970s steel curtain football right there.
Yeah, it is. That guy's a G.
And Tony Gonzalez, I mean, will go to the Hall of Fame as soon as he's done. One of the best tight ends probably to ever play the game, so he's always a safe bet. They always like to target him down in the red zone, so
That guy's one of the best hands, I think. Dude,
yeah,
he can catch anything.
yeah, he's good. He's a very good pickup when you can't get some of these even in the upper tight ends. He's probably within the top 5 of tight ends. Not many teams use tight ends a whole lot. You think of the Eagles, you think of the Packers, you think of Atlanta, San Francisco. They like to use their tight ends a lot, so it's good. Not a lot of teams get that, so if you can pick him up, that'd be a great pick.
Definitely.
The Carolina Panthers had a terrible year last year. Jake Daylight
Yes.
Company wanted Delhomme. He's out. He's off to Cleveland to start, and
Delhomme.
there's not much that you could say about the Panthers other than their two-headed monster of D'Angelo Williams and the Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart. Gotta represent Oregon.
From Oregon, the Jon
The
Stewart
Ducks.
show. He ran for in 6 games that Jon Stewart started. He averaged 126 yards a game and scored 8 touchdowns. So
That's pretty good. Yeah.
so if one of these guys gets injured, and you have the other one, then you're lucky because they're going to go full time, and either one of these running backs could start for any other team by themselves. So both those guys are very, very good. D'Angelo Williams has averaged over 1,000 yards and gotten 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, you hear about him a lot too. Just watching ESPN, that they're always like D'Angelo Williams, bust out.
Williams.
Yep.
Very good quarterback. I had him 2 years ago when he went insane before Jonathan Stewart
Wow.
played well.
It's kind of weird how you always get the good players. Just randomly. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. He was good. I just got him. I just picked him up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Something's a little fishy, dude. Something's a little fishy.
In my league,
Are you cheating, dude?
the year that Chris Johnson was a rookie, I picked him in the very last round, the very last pick, and I said I'll take Chris Johnson, and everyone looked at me like, who is Chris Johnson?
Whatever.
And now everybody knows Chris Johnson.
The Predator.
So thank you, the Predator. He's the Predator that plays for the Titans. It's ridiculous. That guy's faster than the speed of light. It's out of this world.
It is.
I also did the same thing with Deshaun Jackson. Okay, so I don't want to hear.
Dude, but it's kind of weird how you get all these rookie players who are just amazing. I don't know.
It's called research. Okay, I research my gambling.
Whatever. Research. Get out of here.
I do. NFL
I have a
Network.
PhD in fantasy football.
Whatever. So as far as receivers concerned for the Panthers, Steve Smith is your best option. There's not much else going on. Steve Smith has been the best option in Carolina for years and years now. But now they have Matt Moore, who's playing quarterback. Maybe even Jimmy Clausen, who's a rookie. I don't know. Steve Smith, if he can stay healthy, be a little bit consistent, but he's not gonna put you over the top. He's someone that you're gonna want maybe some extra points for, but I don't expect a lot out of him, even though he's a great player. So last but not least, we end
Definitely not least
with the Tampa Bay Bucks. And that's all we have for today.
No. Nope. Nope.
Okay, so Josh Freeman, I have to admit, he's looked really good, and he's actually he hurt his thumb in the second, I think the second or second preseason game that they played. So he's been out. He's been sitting out, and I think he'll be out for the rest of preseason. But he's supposed to start the first game of the regular season. So keep an eye on that. If he looks healthy, if he continues to play, he'll continue to grow. Again, this is one of those middle of the road kind of, maybe even one of those things that you take a flyer on. Maybe if for leagues that have backup quarterbacks. You may want to take him for one of those if you're getting kind of skim. He's one of those guys that's a dual threat, so he'll give you some yards on the ground, he'll give you some passing yards, touchdowns either way, and so if he can stay healthy, I think it's a pretty nice pick, but it's not, again, nothing that's gonna. No, I don't expect him to explode into Kurt Warner or something like that.
He's no like Drew Brees. Like a Drew Brees is like waiting to pop out. No.
Right. So, he also, I mean, he's a good quarterback though. He completed 55% of his passes.
You have to give him props, dude, because when he came to a team who really, just fired John Gruden, which I don't know why, but and they're just struggling with Cadillac not really doing what he was supposed to be doing. Always getting injured. He came into a team that really didn't have much, and he's been doing pretty good. So.
Yeah, and like I said, so 55% of his passes was the highest amongst rookie quarterbacks last year. That includes Matthew Stafford. That includes Mark Sanchez. So he surpassed all those with a higher completion percentage. So he's got some upside. And Kellen Winslow, who's probably the Bucs' best receiver at tight end, they'll use him a lot. They like to use him as receiver in the slot as receiver a couple times. So throughout the game, so they'll target him a lot in the red zone, and with Josh Freeman's legs, you never know what can happen. So, Kellen Winslow is also a pretty good pick. He had, he had a decent year. I think he got injured a little bit last year. He had kind of a knee issue, but again, I mean, he's by far the Bucs' best pass catcher. So, if any option you're looking for, Kellen Winslow's is probably top 10, top 12 tight end. And if you're getting not really desperate, but kind of desperate, if your league's kind of running back heavy and you're kind of trying to look for some stuff that might work out, Cadillac is probably a pretty good pick. Cadillac or Derek Ward.
If he can just stay healthy, if he can just stay healthy, he can tear it up. Because he got Rookie of the Year, right? When he first started playing, or was like.
I think so. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to check.
Yeah, but
he is a good.
If he stays healthy, he can do good. Don't. He's always like, oh, I hurt my toe, I can't play. Sorry.
Right. And him and Cadillac Williams and Derek Ward are both kind of fighting for the spot right now. Derek Ward, of course, coming from the Giants last year. So I think either of them are pretty good options. I mean, Tampa did some things with their line, their offensive line. It's not that great yet. They're still kind of, ranked 20th or 24th in the league in terms of effectiveness for offensive line. But they do have that potential, with a team that's kind of in rebuilding mode like Tampa. You never know. You never know what can happen. You never know who's going to step up or, how things are going to come together until the season starts. So he may be somebody that no one really drafts, but kind of maybe picks up on a little bit later. And so we'll see how that goes. So I'm thinking, I'm really thinking that Super Bowl hangovers, it's going to kind of own the Saints. I don't see them.
I think it is. They partied forever.
I don't think it's going to.